We're about to go over adding and subtracting fractions. So let's say you have a fraction 1 over 7 and you want to add that to the fraction 2 over 3. Well, you look at the denominators and you ask yourself, what's the common denominator of 7 and 3? Well, common denominator is a number that both 7 and 3 can divide evenly into. So that number would be 21. If it's difficult to find a common denominator, the worst case scenario, you can just multiply the two numbers together. So 7 times 3 will give me 21. So therefore, what times 7 will give me 21 is 3. So I multiply top and bottom, because whatever you do to the bottom of a fraction, you also have to do to the top. What times 3 will give me 21 is 7. So I multiply top and bottom by 7. And what I end up with is 3 over 21 plus 14 over 21. And now that the denominators are the same, I can add the top of the fraction. So what I have is 3 plus 14, which gives me 17 over 21. And this is my answer. So let's say you are subtracting, and let's say you had 1 divided by 8 subtracted from 3 divided by 9. 3 over 9 is same thing as 3 divided by 9. A lot of people didn't know that, but it's also true. So what's the common denominator of 8 and 9? That's 72. So what times 8 will give you 72 is 9. So I multiply top and bottom by 9. And what times 9 will give me 72 is 8. So I multiply top and bottom by 8. So what I will end up with is 9 over 72 minus 24 over 72. And now that the bottoms are the same, you have to subtract 9 and 24, and that will actually give me a negative 15 over 72. And you always want to find out if the fraction can be reduced. So 15 can also be written as a negative 3 times 5. 72 can be written as a 3 times 24. So the 3's will cancel. And so what I will end up with is a negative 5 over 24 reduced. Let's try again. Let's say we have just a random number, 5 divided by 6, and we want to add that to 9 divided by 11. So the common denominator of 6 and 11 are 66. To get 66 on the bottom of the first one, you multiply top and bottom by 11. To get 66 on the bottom of the second one, you multiply top and bottom by 6. So what you will end up having is 55 over 66. And that's added to 54 over 66. And so now that the bottoms are the same, you would add the top, and you will result in a 109 over 66. And then you want to see if the both can be reduced. A 109 can't be reduced by 3, and it can't be reduced by 2, which are the only two numbers besides 6 that can go into 66. So therefore, this fraction is reduced. You can also say, how many times will 66 go into 109? 66 will go into 109 one time. And you want to find out what's the remainder. Well, if you subtract 109 from 66, you get 43. So it's 1 and 43 over 66. So either one of these two answers would be right. The first one is called an improper fraction. The second one is called a mixed fraction. So let's look at a subtraction one. Let's say you have 2 divided by 10. And you're subtracting that from 3 divided by 11. Well, you want to find the common denominator of 10 and 11. So if that's difficult, you multiply them together and it'll be 110. So times the first fraction is 11 over 11. The second fraction is 10 over 10. And what you're doing is multiplying each fraction by a clever 1, because 11 divided by 11 is the same thing as 1. So you're not changing the number at all. So what you end up with is a 22 over 110, and you're subtracting that by 30 over 110. So 22 minus 30 will give you a negative 8 over 110. And one thing you can notice is that if both numbers are even, the numerator and denominator, then they both can be divided by 2. So if you divide 8 by 2, you get 4. If you divide 110 by 2, you get 55. And since 5 can't go into 4, then this will be the reduced fraction. Let's say we have a pie chart of fractions. And what we want to know is we're given that it's 2,500 girls in an all-girl prep school, ages 8 to 17. Well, the pie chart list, the big chunk is the number of girls or the lunchroom, the percent of the lunchroom. This chunk is the percent of a restaurant. This is the snack machine. Let's say that this is miscellaneous. This is the percent of fractions in the mall. And this is fractions on the street stand. So what you want to ask yourself is, out of the lunchroom, which is this one here, what percent of the lunchroom out of the 2,500 girls? So how many girls uses the lunchroom? So what you want to do is you want to multiply the fraction 2 over 5 times the total number of girls, which is 2,500. Whenever you multiply a fraction times a number, you put the number over 1. So what you're doing is you're multiplying two fractions now. And remember, before you even multiply, if a number on the bottom can reduce with a number on the top, you want to go ahead and do that. And you know that 2,500 and 5 relate. So if you divide it, 5 goes into 2,500 a total of 500 times. So this will cross out, turn into 1, and go into 2,500 500 times. So what you end up with is 2 times 500. And when you multiply those two numbers together, that gets you 1,000.